Hello, my name is Merja-british. I'm a piano teacher in BIS. I will now play you a grade 8 piano piece called Silent Movie Chase, and after I will explain how you can practice the piece and what difficulties there may be. When you start practicing this piece, take a copy of the first page, because it easily becomes a habit that when you practice the first page, then you stop playing, turn the page and then continue. So copy the first, then it's easy to continue. Then right in the beginning, read very carefully. There's lots of details about staccatos, accents, dynamics, and how the slurs go, how they end, how the phrases are. So read those very carefully right in the beginning and try always practice with the right kind of way. So don't ignore any of those little details. If you ignore it, then it's a lot more work because you have to change it later. Another thing which is good to do is to analyze a little bit of the chords. There's lots of chords in your right and left hand, so if you know what kind of chords you're playing, it's much easier. You don't always have to think what notes you're going to play. One big thing about this piece is to be able to do one thing with your right hand and then something different with your left hand. So you have the melody in one hand and then the other hand is accompanying with little different style. So a good way to practice this is to play first a lot of a melody, especially if it's in your left hand, because it's not so common. You have to listen how the melody sounds and think how you're gonna play it. Also practice the accompanying part and do a lot of practice so that you start to feel that the accompanying goes kind of automatically, because at the end it's the melody you have to listen, and it's good if you can play the other hand without thinking too much. Some technical difficulties that you may have in this piece, for example, when you accompany the left hand melody on the first page, your right hand is doing this kind of a pattern, and it goes quite fast and it's loud. So the way you can practice is to go first slowly and think that your whole arm is moving and you're going down down and up. So first just do slowly, get used to the idea how your hand moves, and then little by little add some speed. And think that the power, the volume comes from your arm, not only just pushing your fingers down, but think that you have a heavy arm, and that's where you get the loud sound. Another thing which may be difficult is to play those staccatos. You have lots of staccatos going quite fast and sometimes also quite loud. Again, a good way to practice, first think so slowly that you can feel that your arm, your wrist is flexible and relaxed, and think that just going very relaxed on the keys, and then add some speed little by little. Always feel that you're relaxed, because you have to play those staccatos for a very long time, and it's easy to start tensing your hand, your wrist, and then if that happens, then suddenly you feel like you can't play anymore. So it's really important to be relaxed. Then there's some really fast notes, some semiquavers, first coming in your left hand, later in your right hand. Those can be quite difficult as well. Again, first practice slowly. What you can also do is to play staccatos, first slowly and then faster. You can also change the rhythm. And then try in a normal way. There's another part where you go down and then up. Again, you can do staccatos and changing rhythm. And again, feel that you're moving your whole arm, your wrist, so that you can quickly go up, down and up. And same with your right hand later on. Then there's going to be some octaves in left hand first, and then later in your right hand. Get used to playing an octave. Try to get used to the feel. How does it feel playing an octave? And in your left hand, for example, when you go down, you can think more of your thumb, for example. I think that your fifth finger is just kind of following where you're going. And it's even better if your hand is big enough so that you can sometimes use your fourth finger, because sometimes those octaves should be played in legato, and that's difficult if you have to use the same fingers. If you can't use your fourth finger, I suggest you put a little bit of pedal, but only so that you don't put it all the way down, just a little bit, so that you can connect those octaves together. That kind of part comes also with your right hand on the third page. Those should be played in a legato, but that's quite difficult because you have to jump up a third. So again, maybe just a little bit of pedal, and that sounds much better. Then there's two places which are technically also difficult. On the first page, you suddenly have to change your playing to something quite different, and the first place comes quite quickly in the beginning. You first play a trill in your right hand, and then you're switching the melody to your left hand. It's a quick move, and you suddenly have to change everything what you've done. So here I suggest you just play a couple of notes in the previous bar and the first few notes of the new part, and just go back and forth so that you start feeling comfortable, like this. And same with your left hand. So that you start finding where your hand is going. And then slowly with both hands. Another, that kind of a sudden change happens at the end of the first page. So again, practice so that you first try how to move, for example, your left hand from here to here. It's a long way, you have to fill up here and going down here. So go slowly, find where the A flats are down here, and try to make it just a one big move with your arms, so that you get used to this kind of move instead of going down and searching where A flat is. So go so slow that you go straight there, and once you feel it's going well, then you can add some more speed. And then with your right hand, again just play the last couple of notes, and then the next one is, and then again slowly both hands. Once the piece is going quite well and you can start performing, the only other thing you have to think is the speed in the beginning. Beginning with your left hand is quite simple and it's easy to play, so it's tempting to go a little too fast. To know how fast you should start, you could again pick one of those typical bars at the end of the first page. See how fast you're playing that.